pretty good, yeah.
Is it comfortable for you?
Yeah.
Safe?
Yeah.
So you don't feel any threats coming from anywhere?
Not really. No.
There are some people as well, right?
Yeah, there's 4 adults.
And they're all been nice to you?
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm just getting used to them.
So you get them.
Yeah.
Okay. So what have you been doing with your time?
I've been trying to breathe. I've been trying to quit smoking, and I had tuberculosis in 2008, and it's been 10 years. I've lost 88 pounds, but still I have to remember how to breathe. Sometimes the anxiety goes to my mental health, and I move really fast. I think when I was a child, I could have been diagnosed with attention deficit disorder and wasn't, and so I'm very particular about details and things like that, and I think through things a lot, and so I hyperventilate, and so I've been trying to substitute the e-vape for the cigarettes. It's working pretty good. I mean, it's not that bad. It's better health than cigarettes.
Still probably better not to smoke at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So.
But it's a step forward.
Yeah. I've been looking at gender dysphoria, and probably that would have fit if I had to come out when I was a child about being transgender, and so I'm wondering if it's too late to do testosterone treatment.
Okay, I think it's much more complicated than just that.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of assessments. Honestly, I've never done that. I've never encountered such a problem with my patients so far. They're around for a long time. So, but as far as I'm aware, there are different exams require a certain period of time to be passed before you can actually start doing something. Maybe you have already passed through certain.
Well, I came out when Dr. Usha died. My psychiatrist, Samma Usha, she died in September 17, 2017.
Okay.
I was seeing her from 1992 until 2012. In 2012, she made a misdiagnosis. She claimed a misdiagnosis. Schizophrenia wasn't schizophrenia; it was dyslemia. And so I started on antidepressants.
It was what?
Dyslemia, chronic sadness. Dysthymia. Right. So she did that in 2012.
With all due respect, Laura, it's really hard to mix dysthymia with schizophrenia. They have very little in common.
The decision she had made was that it wasn't one diagnosis, it was another one that I had. So looking at diagnoses, I'm not focused on, I understand I'm on an antipsychotic injection, whatever that might be used for. I see it as a gender dystopia. Is basically my gender is crossed, and it causes a lot of anger, a lot of disruption. So I don't see, I don't worry about what necessarily the diagnosis is. Just how much medication is changing me. The amount of antidepressants. I've been concerned that maybe we can lower the doses of antidepressant. If that's possible.
We could try, and yet of course you have to be prepared to face some consequences. Your mood might deteriorate.
Well, I think that I'm honestly.
You could become depressed.
Well, I think that you're weighing the risks. I think that, like, I'm willing to I want to be able to feel my emotions honestly, and the thing with the antidepressant is that it makes almost anything funny, and it twists. It makes my sense of humor twisted, and it's not a good place to be in, and people don't appreciate it. People don't I don't even get my own sense of humor, and it's only because I'm so medicated, and I'd like a chance to be able to look honestly at my emotions and why do I break down, and why am I emotional, and to feel those, go through the tears, go through the reasons why, find my ability to stay out as a person, as my self definition amongst my friends and people who I live amongst. Sometimes it's difficult to communicate. I learned the English language in psychiatry as a patient, and I really don't want to make a career out of being a patient. It was never my intention to be a patient for 20 years, to be in psychotherapy. It doesn't I don't see it as a goal in my life to be a better patient. I sort of talked my way through years of thinking, 6 years they thought I had schizophrenia, and then it was given a depression, and then you look at it again and say that's what it is. I'm thinking legal aid, and I've already talked to the ACT team about accessing legal aid. In terms of a dead doctor saying to me there's a diagnosis, there's a misdiagnosis. Well, to me that means a lot more than what a diagnosis might
What
mean.
made you think there was a misdiagnosis?
No, it wasn't me. It was her. It was her conclusion.
Okay, so she diagnosed you with schizophrenia, and later she thought she actually had misdiagnosed.
No, she didn't. I was in the hospital. I was in Lake Ridge Health, Oshawa. It was Dr. Mystery that gave a diagnosis of schizophrenia, incompetent schizophrenia, or schizoaffective. And she picked up the file, and I started taking Zyprexa. Gained a whole bunch of weight, almost about 300 pounds. And talked my way through 6 years of therapy, and finally she said, "That's not what your diagnosis is."
You're not that old.
6 years.
6? How many years?
6 years.
6 years, because the second time I heard 60.
From 2006 until 2012
I see.
was schizoaffective, and as far as hallucinating goes, almost every day I'm checking little boundaries to see if I'm hallucinating, and I'm not. There's nothing. I barely hear at all. I'm almost deaf as it is, and it's difficult to say. There's an auditory hallucination. There's a visual hallucination. There's a smell hallucination. There's a touch hallucination. Anything that might fit schizophrenia is not fitting. So I've talked to the ACT team about having legal aid in terms of absolutely in diagnosis, and as far as my gender goes, I'm cross-gender, I'm transgender, and so I'd like a chance to be able to look at my emotions honestly, and to lower the dosage of the antidepressant, because I understand depression is it's a lifetime project to be able to change the definition of depression, but I can't just do it if I'm always medicated to get up. So.
As I said, Laura, you are a free person. You don't you're not in prison, and nobody's treating you forcefully. But if you want to know my opinion, I think it's going to be pretty risky if you start playing with your antidepressant, because you said, well, you mentioned some pain. Well, depression is severe pain. Depression is pain.
Yeah, but
because you said, oh, I want to be myself, I want to.
No, I want to be able to. I want to be able to. When I feel an emotion, I want to be able to. If I'm sad, I want to be able to cry. If I'm happy, I want to be able to laugh.
Okay,
I want to be able to honestly face those.
What if, when you are depressed, you'll be crying all the time?
No. I'm not saying stop the antidepressant altogether. No, I don't mean stop it altogether.
Okay, so right now you are taking 150 milligrams of Zoloft, etc. It's not the largest dose possible. It's somewhat medium range dose. And what would you have in mind? Like, how much of Zoloft would you consider appropriate for yourself?
I don't know, maybe half the dosage, or
Because I'm going to tell you, anything below 75 milligrams would not probably even work as an antidepressant. You are taking 150, and you're tall. You're not a petite woman who might need a smaller dose. I think 150 is fairly appropriate. On the other hand, that's my opinion. I will not force you, and you are entitled to do what you feel like. And again, you don't have to agree with my opinion.
yeah,
I'm still obliged to express it to you. I have to warn you. You might develop a very severe depression.
yeah,
Okay? So there is a risk. If you want to take your chances, be my guest. At your request, I'll do it. You may simply stop taking things. Nobody's going to shove it into your mouth, right? But I appeal to your understanding. It's not for me or for anyone else. It's for your own benefit. Do you take your medications? And the number is not big. You only are on 2 medications, psychotropic medications. I'm not counting clonazepam. The dose is small. It's not a mainstream medication for you, and actually, I would have been happy if you tried to, discontinue it. But you probably wouldn't want to do that. But in my mind, it's an excessive medication. But you are only taking 2 mainstream medications. One is olanzapine. Is it olanzapine?
no, it's
Oh, sorry, you get the injection. That's it. You don't even take a pill. Yeah, you take the injection and you take an antidepressant.
yeah.
It's clonazepam that probably got stuck in my mind like a second medication. Anyway,
When I'm thinking of,
you are not overly medicated by any means. Okay?
I feel I'm very jumpy, and I don't understand. It's difficult because, and I don't know if it comes from the way I learned to speak English was to acquire a prescription, from the psychiatrist. In psychiatry itself, I learned to speak English. After I was 23, I had to learn it all over again, and that was just because of the severity of the intervention. So when I'm talking to ordinary people, I'm almost always trying to get something, and it's difficult because it's annoying, I'm trying to negotiate my way through the English language, and I anger myself. I internalize a lot of anger, and I can see how, the Abilify, it works. It's a very good injection. Right from the very first injection, I could see how it would slow down my German rightness. It's difficult to be right all the time, even though I'm wrong, and that just happens like that, but I somehow had to figure out how to, like, when I'm looking at, I don't know whether, like, I'm looking at some way to absolute a diagnosis that isn't intimidating. I've looked at manic depression, as it's a pretty obvious, it seems to almost fit, as far as, being a hyperactive kid, the mania being, fun, and then the depression being almost a constant sort of, weight gain, kind of almost all the time, a little bit of depression. But it's difficult for me because sometimes, I don't know necessarily how to say to somebody that I'm just an ordinary person. I've been a patient for so long, and I'm getting tired of looking at therapy. Like, I was hit with a baseball bat when I was a kid, a concussion. And, if my family had intervened and supported me as a young child, I'd probably be really healthy now. But I haven't. I've attempted suicide how many times, and I'm addicted to any substance that I pick up, including people, and it's difficult to recover on my own terms when I'm not feeling those emotions. When I need to feel anger, I need to feel rage. I need to be able to say to somebody, I'm angry. My anger is not internalized. I'm not going to hurt myself with my own anger. And self-harm is a daily problem with me. I've got to be able to look at it every day now. The last drug that I picked up was an injection drug, and it's like I fixate on self-harm, and it doesn't. I don't know if the antidepressants are just clouding that over, or whether it would be too risky to lower the dosage. But right now, it's annoying because I feel emotions and I want to be able to go through them, but I don't communicate. I need to somehow out the point of view of psychiatry. I need to be able to say to my people that I know, like say in the 12-step program, I need to be able to say to my sponsor, this is what we talked about in psychiatry. This is why I don't feel like an abused child anymore, or this is why I do feel like one today, or some sort of thing like that. Something that I'm able to say that we're not talking professionally. I'm able to say that psychiatry is separate. Not stop seeing a psychiatrist. Once I stop, am discharged from this office, I intend to see a psychiatrist at the Ajax Hospital. But looking at being transgender, I want my adult life back. At this point, I've outlived the psychiatrist that I had the most problem with in my life. As far as like somebody being interested in my life, she knew everything about me. She wrote down everything that could possibly know about a person from when a 22-year-old until I was 42. And I'm tired of being studied. I'm tired of being someone saying, this is what I think you have, deal with it. I don't want to do it. And I feel powerless, Okay.
But you are trying to sort of persuade me that you should or you could reduce the dose of antidepressants. And I hear you. And you don't have to persuade me. You see, you can reduce it on your. I will have to give you a prescription of a lower dose. But listening to you, I'm even more concerned about potential consequences. When you mention anger, when you mention some maybe irritability, it's going to increase if we drop the dose of antidepressant. It might, you're right, sort of muffle your emotional responses, but in terms of irritability and anger, it's a good thing because, and again, considering your history and your self-harm previously, I'm honestly afraid that these behaviors might come back. And if you do seriously harm yourself or even kill yourself, you see, nobody can stop you. The person who wants to kill oneself sooner or later does it. And it's entirely up to you, of course. But I want to tell you, your life is as valuable as anybody's else.
Yeah, I see that.
And people who do commit suicide, unfortunately, have not realized the ripple effect it impacts on everyone who have known.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, I see my addiction. After 5 years of using drugs, I was in the 12-step program for 3 years, and somebody's attraction to me was bothering me, and my life just fell apart. I tried to establish some boundaries. And,
Yes, can you tell me when the checks will be available this
basically,
month? Okay, thank you.
I chose to pick up a drink, and just started drinking, and one led to another. There was cocaine, there was drinking, there was there was injection drugs, and in the end, it didn't matter. By the time December came around last year, I put myself in this, because it's order or something like that. I understand I'm not under a court order, and it is still my choice. It's not. I'm not determined to not to take any medication. The medication is helping me. It's just that I'm afraid that it's freaking the people out that I live with. It's they don't